with having the fewest resources of every team in the league.
But that's part of the fun of being a DSG fan. I see a couple in the audience waving their flags, having their jerseys on, is that they are the underdogs. They have to defend this spot. They had to do a full rebuild, save Castle, who is kind of their, at this point, it's hard to say franchise player, it's been 2 years, but, closest to that they would have. But roster definitely built around him, and we are into pick and ban, and already a lot of focus around him. Things like Jace and Rumble taken off the table.
Yeah, and currently we don't have a Malphite ban. It has basically been a permaban on 26.1, but LCS is on live patch, and it's been nerfed. In the previous series, C9 and TL were still banning it, and currently, Ido has decided to leave it up and roll the dice.
Also important to note that while DSG is on blue side, because of the global changes at the competitive level, Sentinels have first pick, so they get that first choice. Malphite is up, but instead they go for the Azir for Dark Wings.
Decent chance we get to see an Azir to Orianna trade if both teams decide to go for scaling. Castle also decides to just power pick his top lane, and instead of matching with the Orianna, they decide to match with the Taliyah, which I do like when you're playing Renekton, who's more of a player who wants to isolate, like win 1v1. If you have push and roam from your mid lane, you can snowball that top lane matchup even more.
Exactly. And also you're up against Impact, who historically has been one of the GOATs in the top lane. But last year, we talked a lot about how Impact had a rough year, if not his worst on record. So this is showing Castle, I think, some confidence, saying, I'll blind pick into him. Just give me that Renekton, give me the Croc.
Absolutely. Historically, Impact has been very good at neutralizing Renektons. Last split, notwithstanding, where he had one of his worst performances in his decade-long history in the LCS, and it would be a very standard first 3 picks for Sentinels if they decide to lock in that Cassante and throw him top.
Corki and the Cassante are going to be locked in for Sentinels, so we have a lot of our carries, so we're saving the jungle and support pick for second rotation, but we do at least know that, yep, it will be the Cassante trying to equalize that Renekton in the top lane.
Biggest surprise, actually, is DSG just slamming this Pantheon very early right now. It's going to be a support jungle flex. We were wondering how DSG is going to play, because Ido had said with Kryra, the plan was to give him a bunch of resources, let him play his unique champion pool, and then carry the game. But now, because they're playing with Kisno in week 1, does that change how they're going to try and build their team strategy? Or are they just trying to have Kisno do an impression of what Kryra is supposed to be playing like? We'll have to see. We don't know where this Pantheon's going.
I'm leaning more the latter here. As a support main myself, Pantheon is a little abysmal at the current moment. I really don't like a lot of the matchups. His win rate incredibly low in terms of solo queue as well. Doesn't mean that it's unplayable. It still could be a flex, but I'm anticipating the Pantheon plus Taliyah being the combo in the jungle and mid.
Yeah, globally so far in 2026 on Games of Legends here, it's 49 jungle games to 2 support games.
Yeah.
So it's possible, but unlikely.
Possible. Heavily dependent on matchup. So we'll see what Sentinels lock in for their support role. Right now, they're focused on the 80 carries as they ban out Lucian. Alongside Nautilus, DSG will take out the Poppy and the Bard. Man, I love seeing some Bard. I was hoping we'd get it every series.
We still might.
We could.
It's
next
fearless.
Game. Yeah. If anything, this means that we can delay it so that, next game it's not Fearless banned. But Nico is on the table. That one I am expecting to go into the support role.
Yeah, this will almost certainly confirm that Kisno will be playing the Pantheon in the jungle. A lot of engage and hard CC coming out early from DSG. And it's Hambach, actually. He's going to give us our first carry jungle look with the Kiana.
Yeah, what a way to make a statement debut. Hambach, a player we haven't talked about too much, but he's one of the newer players to join us in NA. And already, this is a statement saying, day 1, game 1, lock me in a very squishy, very high burst damage assassin jungler, paired with Huhi on the Alistar, and the answer will be Kai'Sa for DSG.
I think the Kai'Sa makes sense. Every single person can give Kai'Sa a passive stack for him to fly into the back of a team fight if things are going well. But you just have to see the standard nature of the Sentinels team comp. When they feel like they're going to be the stronger team going into the game, very stable lanes, safe blind picks, good scaling, strong front line, with the only curveball being that Kiana. But I think because they have such a strong front line in the Alistar and the Cassante, that the composition for Sentinels makes a lot of sense.
A little bit of spice on top of all that nice. Sentinels in game number 1 having a more standard draft. DSG, when I look at this composition, though, I don't see the same type of scaling tools. I see a comp that really wants to get going early on.
So I know Azale was seeing some champ select bugs and things not getting traded.
Yeah.
I'm going to end up waiting.
Okay.
Because it's unlikely to actually be
But a little teaser, because maybe
I fell for exactly the same thing that Azel has fallen from. I think it's still going to be Pantheon Jungle. And it is. It's Pantheon Jungle, Tulia mid.
Yeah.
They didn't do a switcheroo on me.
But it's DSG versus Sentinels to kick off their LCS season. Riot Games Arena, make some noise for the new kids on the block versus the team that defended their spot. Sentinels, welcome to LCS. Disguised, welcome back. Happy to have you again. Both of them up against each other with a bit of rivalry to start off the year. 3/5 of DSG's roster last year is now playing for Sentinels. DSG with a full rebuild. Let's see if it gets them a win here today.
Send everybody top to kill Castle. Get revenge for him to not coming over as well.
We don't have as much time these days. There's been a lot of early game changes, specifically around the minions spawning. But a reminder, congrats to DSG. They defended their guest spot here in the 2025 promotion tournament. But it's not over yet, Jet.
Oh, they started the clock already. What are you doing?
We just need to remind them. We just need to remind them that the clock is ticking. They got a little while, though, to get everything together. And that's what Ido was saying. You mentioned the coach. This is a rebuild. This is a team that's going to have to take some time to kind of get things together.
Absolutely. And diving into this game a little bit already, I want to talk a bit about Sentinels and why I actually think this team might surprise people. I think there was a lot of people that were whelmed by their original roster announcement because 3 players from DSG who seemed like a bottom tier team for a lot of the year, and then Impact, who had a bad split on Team Liquid. But when I just look at the way the team is constructed, I think the players' strengths when they're at their best works really well together.
Okay.
So I think Rahel was a great hyper carry last year. He actually
won a series versus C9.
He led the league in gold percentage, and that was with Darkwings in his mid laner. So their willingness to give most of the resources to Rahel was working, because I wouldn't say Darkwings was doing poorly on his control mage pool. And I'd say with the season changes, that can actually be amplified. Bringing in those carries as well as who he is, the shot caller. Like, 80 carries just have so much gold now with cashback and the inflated gold from the role quest.
Scumbag Golden Glue, that's crazy.
I think Golden Glue did a good job putting this team together. He didn't have massive amounts of resources, and I think he has carries that make a lot of sense. And if you're going to have a hyper carry like Rahel, why not have one of the best team fighting top laners in the history of the league in Impact if he's able to have a bounce back split? So that's where I like what Sentinels is doing, and I think because the fit is so good between the players, they might surprise a lot of people.
And you did rank them much higher than, I'd say, the average for Sentinels. And even much higher, still only 4th place, but still. Yeah. Higher than I'd say the average was for them across the board. So we'll see if they're able to deliver. And yeah, I'm speaking on Darkwings. Last year, it really was like he's coming in for one split. I talked to him a little bit earlier before coming into the game, and he was like, look, this is still basically my rookie year, because he only got the one split. This is his 2nd split, so I'm still looping him in with the other rookies that we have right now, kind of like the APA treatment that we gave a couple years back. And yeah, he was solid, but now is a chance for him to try and stand out in the mid lane. But maybe they just put the resources into Rahel regardless. Either way, though, catching up on the game, we see that junglers are just pathing opposite sides. They're going to trade for different scuttles. No early game action here, but I still, when I look at DSG's comp, think that they're the one a little more pressured to go for earlier plays if we're going to see any.
They really are, and they have tons of river vision at the moment as well, utilizing the new super ward spots, the Phalites, to get extra vision in the river. You can see that bottom lane is just completely lit up, but they're not really able to do anything with it because both junglers just full cleared, got the crab, and are likely on their way back to base.
But it does mean the DSG have a lot of vision protecting Sajed. Another of these rookie players coming in here. Sajed, you know, most recent winner of MVP, Most Valuable Prospect, an award given out to NACL players. Some were confused thinking, well, why did he not win first team All-Pro? Because Prospect is not player. It's not that he was the best in his role. It's that we felt confident he would be a great prospect going forward. So he's joining the likes of Masu, Busio, Dokla. Big names have won this award in the past. So maybe some pressure as well on Sajed, but so far laning phase going all right for him. He's actually ahead about a wave of CS.
Yeah, hopefully it's just a little bit of hope, because Most Valuable Prospect has resulted in so many players finding Tier 1 LCS success. And it's only 4.5 minutes in, but DSG is sticking with him. I wonder what the coordination is going to be like, because I know to make matters worse in the offseason, and these are just the difficulties that they're going against and why DSG should be favored as or seen as an underdog. They did lose 3 of their players, and then on top of that, being power ranked below most teams, they also don't have their full roster. So they're really playing with a lot of difficulties for this first game.
So how about let's do this? Let's catch up on Kizno's early game here, because as a emergency sub, didn't have a lot of time to practice with a team, if any at all. How would you kind of expect, if you're putting yourself in the coaching position, Ido to approach saying, okay, this is how I want to play around a Pantheon jungle right now?
I mean, for the most part, if you're dealing with a player that's not going to be there long term, you kind of actually want to mold your team a little bit around him, make him as comfortable as possible, and then the other 4 people should be able to do that. So okay. I would hope that it's just, what do you like in the jungle here? I like Pantheon. That's what I'm most comfortable with. Okay, great. Now let's have it make sense. And in that case, they really have built a cohesive team composition. It's high execution, but it's anyone who goes in and lands the first CC, whether it's on Qiyana, Azir, or Corki, everyone else kind of flies in and tries to one-shot that squishy. And I will say as well, like, Castle is the one who's going to have to create a lot of pressure on that Renekton, because he's the one that is in the most winning situation. And
also the one with the most experience on the team, at least with this organization. So, also one other fun fact, we're basically just lore dumping Kizno right now. That was my goal coming into the series. I was like, we're going to get some Kizno fans in the audience. Again, it's a tough position. Yeah! Somebody shouted out right there. Fun story I heard about them. He was actually a recommendation from Sajed coming in. So the two of them, old friends, played against each other. Sajed's, or rather, Kizno's first ever 5v5 experience was scrimming against Sajed when he was off-rolling in the jungle. Apparently he got bodied because Sajed was playing like Shaco and Kayn. So maybe we'll have to ask him about that, the Shaco text later on. But they've also played on the same roster together, so it's cool to see that Sajed not only is a rookie coming into the team, but also is a rookie that's like, hey, I know a guy that can come in and replace Kryra, who's experiencing some visa issues.
I mean, things looking good for them so far. Pretty uncontested with what DSG has wanted to do. Calmy has held push in mid lane. The Nico support has appropriately kept the Alistar pushed in. They've had really good vision in River, and a 6-minute, 40-second uncontestable Drake because they had so much River control.
Yeah.
That's a good first 7 minutes of play.
Not too shabby coming in here from, again, the emergency sub for DSG. They get the shove in the bottom side as well. Still, Sajed is maintaining his CS advantage. And I'm happy that you highlight the fact that Lion's helping out with that a lot. Actually, we'll get back to that. Hambak looking for a play. Flash from Dark Wings. Response from Call Me. But Sentinels are looking for it. He didn't see Hambak, though! First blood to Sentinels.
That's a nice way to start your LCS life there. Your mid laner goes flash for flash. Even though Call Me felt pretty safe, you're near walls, and you're near a Qiyana. So instant punish there by Hambak. Has no problems getting the one-shot button off on the Qiyana.
Yeah, sometimes you just get a little overconfident there thinking, okay, I outplayed the 1v1, but Hambak committing flash as well. That is a 2-for-1 summoner trade, but that first blood gold being back in the game. Last year we had to get used to not having that anymore because it was feats of strength. Now that is more gold in the pocket of Qiyana, who is going to have a pretty juicy back here.
Yeah, does a nice job stealing Krugs as well. I don't feel like that's going to be able to get matched by Pantheon, as Pantheon's on the other side of the map.
That's a completed item.
So that is a really nice job of making sure they have something to play off of, and that Profane Hydra could be huge. Watch this one more time. I mean, Call Me probably just feels like he's safe, wants to get back to the wave. Hambak's on full vision. He is. He just doesn't respect the EQ flash into ult, because that is a perfect one-shot angle for Hambak. He needed to keep running backwards. Beautiful play.
Yeah. So, unfortunate oopsie from the mid laner of DSG, but that is only first blood. If you remember, they still have that dragon from earlier. So, slight gold lead now for Sentinels, but all that going to be on the Qiyana for now.
Quick call out as well. Is Golden Glue in a plain black t-shirt when they had a merch tent outside giving away bunches of Sentinels merch?
Well, yeah, he gave his jersey away. He's such a good guy.
Am I wearing his jersey?
Maybe, well, no, yours says Dark Wings
it does.
on the back. Yeah, okay. Shout out to you. But we see here some Hambak fun facts. Newer player coming into the league. Kind of a storied player himself. He's new to NA, but he played through the OK Bro pipeline. I also played with Morgan a little bit, new top laner for Team Liquid. As actually, we'll get back to that here because DSG are posturing around the Grubs, but Sentinels currently bully them off. Hambak with that big power spike on the item completion. Yeah, you don't want to mess with that Qiyana.
If Qiyana and Pantheon are in the same place and there's no numbers disadvantage, the Pantheon has to run at this stage. Hambak can absolutely run the map. He's got the 1,000 gold advantage completely for himself, and even though one Grub did go over to Kizno, the lead will slightly extend for Hambak's Qiyana.
Yeah, and this is a tough spot to be in for Kizno as the Pantheon, falling behind the Qiyana, and now a lot of camps cleared behind as well. We see 71 to 89. Hambak having a great debut. Also, fun fact, he's played with a lot of players that are coming into the league. He played with Castle a little bit back in the day on KTC. He played with Zinni, who we'll see tomorrow on Shopify Rebellion. So Hambach might be new to North American audiences, but not new to a lot of the players playing here in North America.
Yeah, the KT Challenger roster now having 2 players in the LCS this split. We'll get to see Zinni tomorrow. Hambach was on that team in 2024, was not on that team in 2025, but now he's over here in the LCS. And I think a lot of the success of Sentinels will hinge on whether or not Hambach ends up being a top-tier player for them, because I think Darkwings, Rahel, and Impact are more known quantities, and if this team's really going to start contending for a title, it would have to be around exceptional play from their jungler.
And that is one of the things that they really wanted to upgrade as well. When you look at kind of the difference between DSG to the Sentinels rebuild, getting a player like Hambach is a big boon for players like Darkwings who can play more stable mid lane and then just give resources to Rahel. Now they have more firepower here in the jungle. But speaking of that bot side, I'm still impressed that Sajed has been able to kind of hold things down on his own down there. Gonna go for a reset here. Maybe that's gonna be a first item completed as well, which would be ahead of Rahel, who expectations was, I definitely thought Rahel would have kind of the advantage in just laning phase and pretty much every point in the game.
Yeah, I think a lot of it does have to do with the matchup. Nico into Alistar is always going to be more Nico favored, and it's harder for Alistar to roam to, say, top lane, since the vision up there is just so easy for top laners to turn that into an isolated 1v1. So I think he's just conceding a lot. He's actually down more than it looks, because that's a 70 stack cull already from the Kai'Sa as well.
Impact actually finds the third and Topo strike, looking for the solo kill on Castle, flashes forward, finds it! Impact, welcome back to the LCS.
I mean, absolutely, and I just gotta say, Impact still got it. Yeah, he's still got it here, so beautiful job by Impact getting the solo kill. Oldest top laner in the league, getting the solo kill onto Castle. Beautifully done.
He's teaching these young kids how it's done, as Darkwings avoids Call Me with the flick back on the seismic shove. Next Dragon's up. Sentinels, not only do they get a solo kill top lane, but even on the bottom half of the map, they're able to get an advantage, pushing Disguised off of the second Drake. Let's get another look at that. So Castle, he's trying to get the wave in, and it's just a TP from Impact.
Yeah, so you can see Castle pushed up the wave, was just trying to clear it and then go back, but Impact realized this was a time for him to go in, despite the level disadvantage. Knows he has the solo kill angle, able to go under the turret, using the Cassante all out.
Yeah, through the minion wave too. That's some confidence. That's some calculation from Impact coming in. And that was the question on my mind, was which Impact were we going to get? MVP Impact from 2024 or last year Impact?
Just because you're the oldest player in the league for top laners doesn't mean you don't got it. Age is just a number.
I've never seen a 0.9 after an age. 30.9 years old.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a decimal rather than the months.
Yeah.
Conserving space. You can work it out.
Once you hit 30, you don't say how many months old you are.
He's gonna be 31 soon.
Yeah. Soon, TM.
Soon.
Not the oldest in the league, but yes, definitely using that experience. Oldest top laner in the league. Yep.
Core JJ is the oldest player in the league.
All right, we're just gonna start calling him out. Huhi, let's just list all the 30-year-olds here. As we have an invade. Hambach's actually pushing Kizno, one of the young kids, out of here. Oh, you have that one too.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm ready. I have stats. So Core JJ, as you can see, the oldest player in the league, but Huhi also very experienced. But again, like, I think in the past in esports, you would, honestly, when I started in the league, people were saying, oh, if you're 25, your hands are going to fall off. That is clearly not true. Faker's 30, Core JJ's 31. You can see Huhi's over 30 as well, and they're still at the top of their game. Impact getting a solo kill onto Castle here earlier in the game.
So I just turned 30 a couple months ago. So what I'm hearing from that is that I still have a chance.
You still have time.
I still have time. Yep.
If you devote your life to League of Legends for multiple years, you still have an outside chance of making a challenger roster.
Hey, I did play on the playtest team yesterday to warm up the stage, and I had a great Malphite game.
Congratulations.
Malphite mid. Think about it, everybody. Hambach, another invade onto Kizno right now. Weaver's Wall to try and lock him down, but a supreme display of talent, taking a long journey. The circumference around the map now, the Grand Starfall. Kizno's looking for it all onto Rahel, all alone, but Hambach's in trouble. Oh, Sajed! Ult's onto the wrong side of the wall, so he has to commit flash, but it's still a kill. DSG will get 2 members.
An extremely goofy play that we just saw right there. I need to catch myself up on it because it appears that Sentinels went way too deep. The Talia wall created such an interesting connection.
I've never seen that.
For the Kiana ult, because the Kiana ult is going to track the nearest terrain and just circle until it runs out of terrain. So I feel like that delayed the Kiana ultimate. Once we see the replay, I'll see if that ended up costing them the kill.
There is travel time on it, so, and it made a huge amount of terrain connecting 2 big pieces. of Summoner's Rift. So yeah, that's going to be a Pagoda moment.
Yeah,
I think that's worth it.
But I mean, just looking at the numbers here, he is pushed really deep.
That's 3. That's 4. Oh no, just 3. Okay.
Yeah, it would have. It kept going.
Yeah.
Because of the Talia R.
Amazing.
But it also means that they're just completely outnumbered. I think this was a bad invade by Hambach. And then also DSG doing a good job of collapsing and completely staying in the game. Almost a mistake there by Kai'Sa, almost costing the kill. Ends up just costing him his flash. We'll see if that ends up mattering before that flash cooldown comes back up.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where, again, as a rookie coming in, this is his first game playing on the LCS on this stage. So moments like that do happen. Still have the flash to get the kill at least. That's gold into the pocket of Sajed, who now has a sizable lead over Rahel.
And this is a Kai'Sa comp.
Yeah.
So him having the 1.7 thousand gold lead, 1 from the laning phase, 2 from stacking his cull, and then 3 from getting that shutdown on the Hambach. That's exactly where you want the gold to be going, and DSG is absolutely in this game.
One thing I want to track now, though, is what Sentinels does now that there's no flash on the Kai'Sa. Because at the NACL level, yes, he's MVP coming in from NACL. Yes, he found a lot of success as Masu's replacement on FlyQuest Challengers. But you don't get punished for things like not having your flash around Herald plays at NACL. Does a team like Sentinels punish that more? So eyes will be on Sajed going forward if he can stay safe. Currently, though, it is the Herald not contested. DSG just have Kisno soloing this one as they push top.
Trying to race for first turret. They should be getting that extra gold now if Impact can withstand this pressure. Getting that extra gold on his ear is going to be real nice. And now Huhi's up here to cover. So giving up Rift Herald, but they're sending the squad. It's actually 5 thinking about heading up top.
Sharks are circling onto an Alistar and a Cassante. 2 tanks, hard to take down, but they just dropped the Herald. Maybe they killed the turret first. As Sentinels have a teleport coming in. Huhi pops the ultimate early. Impact with the 3rd and Topo strike. It's going to be a sacrifice of the Alistar. No, he flashes. Gets out just in time. DSG will only get the turret.
That's got to be a little disappointing for DSG. If they send 5, they definitely get at least 1 kill, but then Sahed would have lost the mid-wave because Kai'Sa was kind of circling the river, decided to go down and catch that wave. Still equalizes turrets, but Huhi, I think, is pretty fortunate to get out of that one alive.
And it's one of those moments where maybe if you commit everything, you can ride the Herald into another turret, convert it into 2, but Dragon also on the map. They want to go for a reset, now back on the map for this.
But if they do that, Rahel probably gets mid. So like I really understand Sahed's mindset here, saying, I have a lead on the Corki. If I match him, I'll always win. So there is a smart individual call there for him to make sure his game is in a good place.
I don't think Sajed's going to have a chance to get a second item, though, before this Dragon fight. Although, as I say, that everyone's positioning topside. They're TPing topside. Everyone, again, going to Dark Wings. TP response from Sentinels. It's only Calmy. Now Kismo ulting in. Dark Wings has the backup of the team. He was the target, but who's hunting who? Supreme Display of Talent not landing the mark as Hui's in some trouble. Rahel now joins in for the first kill as Sentinels do hold the line for 1. Dark Wings pushes Castle back. Pop Blossom coming in. Will land on a 2. Sajed can free fire, but he only gets 1 while a triple goes to Rahel.
Again, a bit of an awkward fight. You could see that DSG was trying to fly in from all angles, but the Kai'Sa just couldn't find the right angle, and as you mentioned, didn't have the 2 items yet. So that big gold lead that he had now diminished because Rahel ended up getting some kills out of that. So I actually like the idea of the play, but the execution just ended up falling a bit short.
I mean, you see Alistar no ult, you see a TP was used early, you see a lonely Azir, but Sentinels, really good defensive play.
It is. Watching this one more time, you can see Castle needed to avoid getting one shot, so he's not in there right there. Kisno takes damage, is almost dead before the fight starts, and then Rahel also arrives first, so there was no Kai'Sa combo one shot that you would ideally have. Doesn't fly in here either because they can get the kill out of Hambach without ulting, and everyone on Sentinels had already fallen to the back of the turret. So a pretty good response on second watch there from Sentinels to retreat to their turret while still doing damage.
And the story gets worse for DSG. Not only do they not find an advantageous trade for that top play, back-to-back top plays, but another Dragon goes to Sentinels, the more experienced roster, but the brand new org here finding some purchase in this game. They got a slight gold lead, and now they're up in objectives.
And I think if this team is going to succeed, it's going to be off the back of the team fighting for sure. Rahel, you want him to get to 3 or 4 items. That's where he was shining last split on Jinx and Aphelios. Dark Wings, a good control mage team fighter, and Impact, as we mentioned, a really strong team fighting tank. So even though they're not blowing out DSG, I feel like this is generally how a lot of Sentinels games are going to look.
And Castle finds a nice little chunk there into Hambach. who now is trying to push him away from the Raptors. The team pushed into the mid turret, but don't have quite enough push, is now Impact alone topside.
Yeah, and here's also where an experienced team is going to be able to outperform a team that is just put together playing with a sub-jungler. Is you could see 5 people were grouped there for mid lane, but they didn't have a reliable trigger pull, so they end up losing a bunch of farm in the side lanes. Now they're redeploying, but they're completely down on tempo because the deep push is there for Sentinels. They can get the Phaelite in the bot lane, so they have full vision now for Darkwings to push deep. Not to mention it gives time now for Hambach to move to the top lane and think about pulling off a gank to maybe get this turret.
Castle does have the turret, but it's very low. Impact pushes the cannon wave in. Now all out, pulls Castle back yet again. He will fall in the top lane. Grand Sorrowful was committed by Kizno. We can clear out the wave, some damage on the Impact, but I don't know if Pantheon will have enough to actually threaten the kill. Impact is trading it right on back. Hambach says, I think you got this, buddy. And Impact says, you bet I do! Sajed will get the shutdown, but Impact with the solo kill.
Wow, Impact Hambach there getting a 2-for-1. It looked for a bit like Hambach betrayed Impact.
It did, yeah. And he trusted him.
But I'd actually say that was correct because they knew Kai'Sa was on the way.
He needed his bot camps.
If Kai'Sa arrives, I think he kills them both. So he protected himself. Impact got the kill anyway. Perfectly done.
All according to plan right there. Yeah. But DSG, we have seen, even though they're falling behind, this was a composition that we highlighted needs to make early plays. They are trying to defend. They're trying to be aggressive as well. Kizno coming in here to attempt to save Castle. It's a nice look.
Yeah, he was thinking he was going to be close enough to protect from a gank, but the one-shot potential from the Qiyana. And yeah, this just looks like the biggest betrayal, but it's because the entire river is controlled by DSG, so they don't want to give away Qiyana as well. Ooh. Really, Kizno needed to just not fight the Cassante as much as possible because the kill was going to be secured regardless.
Yeah, and Aegis Assault went the wrong direction as well. He's going to get pulled back from the Atopo strike, so I don't know how much of a difference that really made. Either way, some slight mechanical errors being shown by some of the younger players on DSG. While our Sentinels, I love how much they're playing the map. League of Legends, we're well beyond the days where you just stomp lane and you win the game. You have to actually play Summoner's Rift, and Sentinels seem to be doing that very comfortably with also a very new roster. 3/5 the same for DSG last year, but DSG will commit a lot of members again to the mid lane to clear this turret. 2 TPs coming in. It looks like Sentinels actually want a fight. Impact on the flank. Darkwings is ready for it, but Sentinels can't find it, so they actually commit 2 TPs, not going to land any kind of engage.
I mean, the biggest surprise this game is how starved Rahel is of gold. I was thinking he was going to be the hyper carry for this team, getting most of the resources, but he's, you know, a good 30, 40 CS below Darkwings, and the Kai'Sa's 2.2 thousand gold ahead of them despite being equal in kills, so that's still going to be their window back in the game. 3-item Kai'Sa right now. This is where 80 carries really start to take off, is around the 3 or 4 core item marks, with the 80 carry quest giving them extra gold, with all of them taking cash back. They're taking what I think was intended to be a slight increase to 80 carry income, and now they're getting 1,000 gold a game from
Another Grand
cashback.
Starfall onto Darkwings. That is a teleport from Huhi this time with the Unsealed Spellbook. So Sentinels, man, they got TPs for days, always defending these top lane plays. DSG not going to find it again.
Yeah, they'd love to get this turret eventually. I think they might be able to get it on the next wave, because they're going to see Kai'Sa on mid, they're going to see Renekton on bot, and maybe be able to push up, but they have to respect the Pantheon ultimate. No, sorry, the Pantheon ultimate is down.
He had just used it,
so they might be able to push in and get it, but Huhi's left, so they're just going to continue to trade waves.
Yeah, Sentinels happy to just keep a slower paced game. They do have great scaling tools available to them. And the pressure's on, I think, for a player like Sajed. 3 items completed, working on a 4th. Very far ahead of Rahel, who had a standout performance last split. And a player like Sajed, yes, he's not new to competitive play. He's been playing since high school. He was in one of the Riot-affiliated high school leagues. So he's been playing for many, many years now, between Tier 3, Tier 2, and NACL. But still, rookie at the Tier 1 stage for LCS, and now he's got to put on a big performance here.
Yeah, Hambach lying in wait, hoping that someone squishier walks through.
He's going to go for the steal.
So much damage.
Yeah, not
Kizno
spotted.
does not even realize it yet.
Kizno, I think, is maybe reading that there could be an invade. TPing in.
It's fine.
Yeah, Sajed's very far forward. Rahel, they still have Hambach on the flank. He's now spotted. DSG see the lonely Qiyana all alone, but the Pop Blossom was committed by Lions. The rest of the team, they were chasing back as Rahel kites back from Castle. Castle might just have him, though. Woo. Stunned up, CC. Can he get him? No! as a shutdown for Kisno on the Dark Wings. In goes Calmy. He finds the shutdown of his own. Now Sajed says, tag me in. Rampage for the rookie 80 carry and a team fight win for DSG.
And that's the big win. They have such a big advantage now. Can they take this Dragon and then go for Baron, or have they run out of time? Watching this one more time, Castle does so much good work to just buy time. So Lions gets the ult up on the top side. That allows the Kai'Sa and the Chli to free hit. But look, that's 3 full people trying to deal with Castle, while Kai'Sa is just completely free hitting the team. So DSG arguably pull ahead in this game with that fight.
One of those moments where when you track impact there, I don't know if he knew where his 80 carry was.
Baron.
They're gonna get the Baron, so DSG, the rebuild roster, the guest team that had to defend their spot, are getting themselves in a very comfortable position in this debut game for most of these players here. 2,000 gold lead, equalizing Dragons, they get the Baron. Hey, they're back in the game.
Yeah, Sajed working on his Zhonya's as well. That's going to make him very difficult to kill in team fights. And that's the slingshot that we see in that game, in this game off of that fight. I mean, you would expect Sentinels to have a cleaner fight setup, but I feel like Hambach getting spotted, having to kind of retreat, use his ultimate solo on the Renekton, allowing the Kai'Sa to free hit his front line. Puts him in a powerful position. A 3,000 gold lead now for Kai'Sa.
Insane lead for Sajed. The rookie 80 carry. Again, I mean, we've talked about him a lot, but there's a lot of reason to be excited about a player of his caliber. He was Masu's replacement on FlyQuest Challengers. We know kind of the expectations. We have a player for Masu now, and Sajed was the one that stepped in, filled his shoes, was able to win the same award Masu did, now in the same league as Masu. And having a pop-off game number 1 makes you wonder, what else is this kid capable of?
The promised Tier 2 and Tier 3 pipeline bearing its fruit here in 2026.
Don't watch EU. Don't look. You don't need to pay attention to Sajed. You don't need to pay attention to Kisno. We're good.
I mean, this is a very impressive showing by DSG. It's really bad news for my fantasy team as well, because I was thinking a team with a substitute, surely just load up on Sentinels players they're taking advantage. Oh, they are not. This
would be a huge upset for DSG to win this. And even if they had their full roster, I would have favored Sentinels over this version of DSG. But, I mean, sometimes it's the way the cookie crumbles.
Watching the dive, Meteos, Azael, Kobe, all had DSG 8th of 8 in their power rankings. My power rankings on JLXP, I put them 8th of 8. So I am very impressed with what they pulled together in this. They picked a high execution team composition. It's a Kai'Sa comp. They're playing with the sub jungler, and now they have Baron buff, equal in Drake's, 3,000 gold up, and looking to advance the game.
Can they push into another turret here? They just took the mid turret. They took the bottom turret, one last tier 2 turret. DSG had a 2,000 gold lead. This Baron has ballooned up to a 4,000 gold lead now. And they do actually take down the final tier 2 turret. Sentinels still, this is the 3rd time now that Darkwings has been split pushing on his own, and he's getting close. Oh, he actually gets pulled back here. TP does not go off. Darkwings was trying to get out of there, but does have the shuffle to escape Calmy. No summoner spell, though.
Yeah, still no TP there for
that's a Weaver's Wall. Calmy might actually look for the long chase.
Backup.
Darkwings with the Emperor's Divide pushing Calmy away while Hui and Hambach were there to capitalize. But either way, he gets out. He's fine.
True, Pantheon Kai'Sa could have arrived at any moment, just one CC. They're going to keep the chase on now, knowing impacts in top lane. If they catch anyone, they're going to look to pile in.
You watch the Jed. He's off screen right now, but that Kai'Sa ultimate can always follow up on one Pantheon W. So DSG with killer instinct, looking for the play, but Sentinels do get their mid laner out of there. It just costs a TP and an ult cooldown, but that should be up before the next big objective. Speaking of, it's a minute for Dragon. It's not Dragon's Soul, so Sentinels again can scale, and they did a good enough job of slowing down the Dragon stacking of DSG that they even could give this one away and just continue to catch waves if they wanted to.
I mean, DSG really looking to make a statement here early in game 1. I know they still haven't won this game. We still have a best of 3. But
are you trying to caster curse them? It feels like you're trying to caster curse them.
I mean, maybe a little, but it's just... Listen, for those of you who haven't been following, the overwhelming opinion was that this league was a top 2 in TL and C9, maybe Lion sneaking in there. Then you have
Shopify Rebellion.
Then you have Shopify. Then there'd be 4, right? Shopify, FlyQuest, Sentinels, and
if you
Lion.
took the averages, it would be exactly that.
And then DSG and Dig are just everyone's 7 and 8. But DSG in game 1 now with a 4,000 gold lead on their young AD carry are going to try and, I mean, if they win one more fight, they could potentially end the game. They've eliminated 6 turrets already.
And it's not only the young AD carry, it's a jungler subbing in, and it's their top lane. Actually, we're back to that Lions with a Pop Blossom defensively. They got him! Hambach just popped like a balloon. DSG will happily accept the jungle donation, as now they're looking for impact. Yes, a flash away from the flick back, and Sentinels now with 4 members will limp away from this dragon.
And I like the play. They don't over chase in the 5v4. They're just going to take the free dragon, keep extending their gold lead, keep growing Seched's Kai'Sa. My God, they are looking good.
Yeah, if you had said, if you'd asked me ahead of time what my expectations were for this, I would have said, unfortunately, rooting for the players on DSG, but I'm expecting a 2-0 for Sentinels. Thankfully, nobody asked me that ahead of time, so I don't have to admit that, though, because that would have been a little embarrassing. Sentinels, so far, have not been able to really solidify their lead. They had one at one point. They were up a dragon. They were up some gold, but then one bad team fight, and DSG have been able to run away with it. Now, again, the scaling, I do want to keep reminding people, because games, if they go long, these types of gold leads don't matter. Where your team with the Renekton, with the Talia, with the Kai'Sa, like, yeah, you can still blow somebody up, but if you give a Cassante 4 items, if you give an Azir 4 items, it can get really tough to end the game.
It can. I mean, if Darkwings is able to get one more item, he's really going to be pumping damage. I'd even say Rahel, even though individually he's 4,000 gold down on the Kai'Sa, if he completes an Infinity Edge, he's going to be a strong Corki as well. We'll be able to kill squishies in a couple auto attacks. But at the moment, like, this is previously what a completely full build Kai'Sa would be. He still has a slot for yet another item.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of curious if, when we see more of this, like, what is going to be the 7th item build for all these AD carries, because it's previously unexplored territory.
Usually we wouldn't even get to that point in a pro game.
We're 31 minutes in, man. He's got 18,000 gold of items right now. He is unbelievably fed.
Also, Call Me with a decent enough lead over his lane opponent, too. Really, the only lead for Sentinels is Hambach, who just got picked in that last play, just lost his spell shield there. The Baron has started. Hambach's going to have to try and find a way in.
He's
looking for the flank right now. Disguise decide to walk away. Sejed at half health. If he goes down, even with that Zhonya's, that's bad news for DSG, so Sentinels do push them off of the objective.
He took way too much damage there and actually doesn't have any lifesteal in his build. He took Legend Alacrity. He has Absorb Life, which gives him 21 health per target killed, but that's actually really bad late game if you don't have Bloodlight on an AD carry, because you start Baron, and Baron itself will actually take you like half health, so it really diminishes their ability to force Nash, surprisingly.
Yeah, maybe something to look at for that 7th item. Yeah, think about it.
A little bit of lifesteal, but he's the AP. I want a death cap.
Yeah.
I want that death cap.
I want to see somebody
so much
get
AP.
one shot by a Kai'Sa. Speaking of, Hambach has to use the supreme display of talent defensively. Castle was able to find a flank there. The flanking Renekton always terrifying for squishy junglers, as Hambach will actually walk back into the jungle. Call Me's lying in wait. Castle and Kisna will walk forward, clear out this control ward. Hambach will now see Call Me. That's the flash as well. A fantastic start, but a rough second half of the game for Sentinel's jungler.
I agree. The first blood looked great. After that, he's really had a hard time entering any fight. So with no jungler, flash, or ult, DSG is going to continue to try and hold control here on the river. And really anyone can land CC that allows the Kai'Sa to fly in, so it's very difficult for Sentinels to approach.
You see Darkwings going for a bag. Baron's been started. Darkwings, if he finishes the 4th item and can TP in time, maybe it changes things, but DSG, no contest, will pick up the Baron. 2nd of the game, another Baron power play. Let's see what they can do with this one.
Yeah, an important note, the power of actually getting Baron has been diminished this season. The gold reward is about half of what it was before, and it's a little bit tankier to take down, so Baron isn't as game warping as it would have been in past seasons. But as you say, 2nd Baron, the Baron minion's still very strong. The gold's still coming in, almost full build Kai'Sa now. Just need another Rabadons to complete the 6-item dream for Kai'Sa, but I think they're just going to slowly control this and play towards Soul.
DSG, as long as they don't blunder, can control this game very far in enemy territory, but should be able to get it back off right here. We're just trying to get some vision down around Dragon. A minute and 10 for that to come up. DSG can use this Baron buff either to CJ turret or just control waves and go for their Dragon Soul. Now they are on that Soul timer.
Yeah, they don't want to overforce too much to give Hambach's Kiana a big angle, but I don't even necessarily think that with the big front line and even with Azir Corki that they're necessarily winning the front to back, because the Talia and the Kaisa just have such a big item advantage.
Whoa! Call me! Use the Weaver's Wall to try and help out the team on the bottom dive, but almost dies. He doesn't, though! He lives! Kizno, the savior of his mid laner. Darkwings will take down Castle, though, because DSG were expecting a mid laner down there. Now they got a jungler.
Oh,
Kizno with a Grand Starfall flash from Lion. Sajed dominating as the rookie AD carry. He's exhausted, but he don't care. Who we trying to frontline for the team? Kizno doing the same. It's a trade of kills back and forth. Call me! Will get shut down by Darkwings. Oh, what a scrap in the bot lane.
Oh my god, it's a bloodbath. 3 for 3. Sajed gets even more gold, so he's now 5,000 gold up, but you could see the Azir Corki range was starting to pay off right here. Love the pick attempt there by Hambach. Call me really sloppy moving between those lanes. That's the moment where you'd want to be able to get the pick. You can see they do get the kill onto the Kiana, but that distracted him from the fight up top.
Yeah.
So they have to retreat on the bottom side, and then a risky re-engage. Beautiful W there by Kaisa at the end. And it's just Rahel's damage is actually starting to be real here as well.
And it's tough to point out that Rahel missed one rocket on, yeah, we see the coach cams right there. Rahel missed one Corki rocket onto the stunned Talia. If that had landed, Talia would not have been alive for all the Unraveled Earth, for the seismic shoves, and then that made Huhi's job harder. So really tough. That was a great find from Hambach to actually get onto Call Me. But they couldn't kill the Talia, and now it is Dragon picked up by Sentinels there, actually. I'm just realizing, just kind of assumed coming out. They denied Soul, so it's 3-3 Dragon count right now.
That's really makes things fortunate for Golden Glue, and why he was the one excited after that fight. If they couldn't secure the Soul right there, that makes this game very even. And now they're actually on a bit of a timer, because the Kaisa's 6 items, the Corki's 4.5. So Kaisa cannot build 7.
Nope. You got your boots. That's the joke 7.
That is the
yes.
7. So it's a real 7-item build.
This is it. This is the full build. You can get a an elixir, but that's it.
He probably already has one, to be honest.
I would imagine. Yeah. All right. So Sajed does not get stronger than this point in the game.
664 AP, level 18. Every item he wants. He could start becoming an AD if he wanted to get more gold to sell all his items.
Just unlock everything.
But I think that last push was their strongest window.
Oh, another Weaver's Wall now. Call Me's really fishing for these Grand Starfall as well. DSG using their semi-globals to try and catch out members of Sentinels, but Hui just walks away from the Pop Blossom right there. Now the play from Hambach! Sentinels trying to turn it around, but Sajed is untouched. He got a huge shield. Darkwing's trying to push him away. Sajed positioning safely, trying to free fire, but Darkwing found him! The carry for DSG is shut down, and Sentinels hold the line.
This is still anyone's game. You can see them pushing back the mid lane. 2 for 2, but the carries are alive and no real objectives up. How much can they get off this?
Darkwing's TPing, yeah. He's going to go for a turret here. What a hero play. No, it's actually Impact going for the turret. But either way, Sentinels will get it. Darkwings with clinical precision keeps his eyes on Sajed. We'll get a look at a replay here in a moment, I assume. But I'm just going to be following what Darkwings does in that fight, because he's able to find all the gold for DSG is on Sajed. He
was fishing for Sajed the whole time. So the start actually, if Rahel gets hit by any of those first spells, the game might be over. But then they all commit, and now all eyes are on Kiana. Sajed, beautiful job doing the stopwatch, and then ulting to the side to get the execute. But he then sticks around with no ult, no summoners. Watch Darkwing's up in the top here.
Yep.
Waits for the stun. Sajed wasn't quite in range. He was trying to get the autos off during the stun.
Yeah.
As soon as he didn't kill Darkwings in that split second, Darkwings dashes, flips him back, and gets the kill.
It's one of those moments where if the enemy mid laner's just not paying attention, you can probably unload a bunch of damage as AP Kaisa killed them. But Darkwings knew he was paying attention.
I feel like if Sajed was like an inch closer to the wall, he gets 2 autos off on Darkwings while he's stunned, and the game's over.
Yeah.
But he just couldn't quite weave those autos in, and now we're here in what is an even game.
But I gotta go back to expectations. When I looked at Sentinel's roster, I looked at Rahel to be the primary carry. Yes, now 5 items has come back in this game, but Darkwings is the one that's actually pulling off some of these big plays, whether it's just split pushing in the bottom side and getting turrets there, or that moment. Darkwings, my expectation for him was like, okay, how does he stand out this year? He's still technically in like a rookie year, and he was solid. but how does he stand out as a mid laner? Plays like that, if you can chain those together, that's how you start getting fans as a mid laner in NA.
Yes, the NA hope here, Darkwings on Sentinels, but they kill Baron very quickly. They just have to be careful of getting Snap engaged on because they won that fight, because it's now a 5-item Corki who's still one-shotting people, and because it's a max item Azir. That 3,000 gold lead, as you mentioned, when you're this late in the game, doesn't really matter that much. And if you look at the front line, especially this Cassante with the Protoplasm Harness, with how many resists he can get as well, it's going to be extremely hard to kill. So the front line is much stronger here for Sentinels, unless they can get some type of assassination onto either the Azir or the Corki.
And that's, DSG was able to get their gold lead initially around a dragon fight where they out-executed. You could say the same thing. If Sentinels just find their one pick, if they find the Kiana ultimate into a wall on somebody like Lions, even somebody like Kizno with the GA, you can blow somebody up and try and get some big damage. Call Me, meanwhile,
is pretty big.
Yeah, it's starting to land. Castle has a flank here, but Sentinels, they have the Azir ultimate. Now the Weaver's Wall yet again. Darkwings barely gets over and gets back to his team. Now it's Castle who might be caught out.
But they might get
Darkwings
Darkwings.
Goes not in the direction of Castle, but he flashes forward, jumps onto Rahel, has the Valkyrie to safety. DSG feel confident to push forward because of the low health bars of Darkwings, and Rahel having to use the cleanse. No flash on Corki either. Sentinels, that was a tough moment there. They thought they could turn on Castle, but DSG were ready to actually pounce.
Yeah, Darkwings ended up being at the back of the chasing party, and now they're going straight for Baron.
Yeah, Darkwings back.
Burst this down.
Darkwings backed and healed, and now a TP answer from Castle. Darkwings gonna hold the wall over there. Who he TP's in as well. DSG though, almost got the pick onto Impact, but he's got the unstoppable.
Baron Shred is real, and they've also given away position on Soul, so if DSG just push them off here and then move towards Soul, that'll be a big advantage.
With the flash over the wall! Pop Blossom on a three! Supreme display of talent, tries to turn things around. Darkwings can free fire, has the ultimate to buy space for Sentinels, and that's enough. An incredible engage from DSG goes awry as Sentinels hold the line.
That's crazy. They one-shot Rahel's Corki, but Darkwings and Hambach and Impact fight back the engage.
Yeah.
So, but this is important. To me, Soul for Baron, I'm taking Soul every time, and Sentinels is actually teleporting to control the Baron, but Soul is going to be going over to DSG.
Yeah, this would be the third Baron of the game. First for Sentinels, they commit to Dragon. DSG get that Soul. Call Me is here to watch the Baron go down, but will back off wisely. Away pushing top, away pushing mid. Sentinels are giving away a lot for this Baron. And now they will pick it up, but the Soul for the Baron trade and a basically dead even gold game 42 minutes in.
This is one way to start your LCS journey here if you're Sentinels or these players on DSG. Sajed really wants to have this be his pop-up moment. He has changed his items. So he sold one of them
Shadow Flame
for a Shadow Flame.
I'm trying to remember which one that was. Yeah.
Beforehand. Nasher's Tooth, maybe? Is gone.
He still has the Nash. I see the Nasher's Tooth. Yeah.
Why
Does anybody in the audience remember to shout it out?
Kraken Slayer.
Okay.
So he's full AP Kaisa now, which is, they're in these situations where they're just kind of trying to poke each other, and now his W would take like half of the Azir or the Corki's health, but they are losing the poke battle because they have no sustain.
Yeah.
And Corki rockets or a couple of Azir autos are chunking them out at the start of these fights. It's part of how Sentinels has stayed in this game. But now, we're definitely in a lull state because the team that was getting pushed in got Baron, so their minions will push back. But the other team has a Cloud Soul, so they'd be able to chase anybody down if Sentinels leaves their base by too big of a margin.
Yeah.
So
if DSG just wait out this Baron, they're in a fantastic spot. Maybe they find a way to make action happen, but expecting the game to go a little longer here. Everyone is approaching full build for game one of LCS between these two teams. And what a way to start the season.
That's the poke.
That's one. That's one right there. Think two more and he just dies.
If you land another, it might even kill because he would proc the passive with his 700 AP, and it might even just get him.
Shadow Flame additional damage.
He's become ARAM Kaisa at the very end of the game, rather than just being SR Kaisa.
You would play AP Kaisa in ARAM, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Who doesn't play AP Kaisa if you have Kaisa in ARAM?
I like tank Kaisa. I think it's fun.
Okay.
Think about it. You fly in,
losing fun?
Primary engage Kaisa. Consider it.
I see.
Consider it.
Rand wins alt in slow.
Exactly, right? Yeah, I'm technically providing CC. But DSG right now still have their backs against the wall. I'm going to keep reminding us of that fact that they have to make very creative plays, which, to their credit, they have. They've used the Taliyah and Pantheon beautifully back to back to back. There have been 3 distinct moments where they've used Weaver's Wall to try and get on the members of Sentinel with the Grand Starfall on top of it. If they can find one member caught out, then that's a way to win the game, but Sentinels have not been giving them as many opportunities in this second half.
I know this is going to be a completely useless stat, but it's just a big number, so I like it.
Okay.
I almost guarantee you, without checking, that in your first ever LCS game, no one's ever had 25,000 gold, but that's what Sajed has. So they've increased gold in the game. He has cash back. This game's 45 minutes long. But I bet you no one in their first ever LCS game has had 25,000 gold
Can we get stats to check? Leo, our stats guy, can you check that globally? A rookie 80 carry in debut
I'm saying
game.
LCS. I don't need to
No, let's make this
crash the
worldwide,
servers
Jet.
with
Come
the stat
on.
pool.
I think at this point, let's build this kid up. And again, I mean, it is important to remind people that this is a rookie 80 carry coming in, and I think he has played exceptionally well. As Castle now finding Rahel, the more experienced bot laner, all alone. TB coming in, don't matter. Rahel caught out of position. DSG find a pick.
What a disastrous play there for Rahel. He was greeting a wave to try and get his maw, but we're 2 minutes from Baron and from Elder.
50 more seconds.
There's no reason to not wait for the wave to enter, and now the team's in a tough spot.
Darkwings is going for a play on this. Sajed finds Lion. Supreme Display of Talent will go in, and it catches Sajed on the back half. Has to use the ultimate to try and get over the wall, but there's just nowhere safe to go. Shut down to Hambach, and Darkwings, what a crazy look.
Darkwings is having an insane game.
Yeah.
He's pulled off all of the big plays that they've needed. They lose their 80 carry 45 minutes into the game in a lane that doesn't have an inhibitor, and then they find the re-engage. I need to see that one again to see exactly what angle he had. We have comms too.
Oh my goodness. Look at this. Look at this.
Cancel. Oh, nice.
So Sajed thinks he's out.
Cancel, no flash.
Just
no
get pretty. Pretty.
No flash, no do now. Oh, nice.
Nice, Isaac.
Yeah.
Can he? I think we have a death time on.
Thought he was out, wasn't quite out. The Supreme Display of Talent does have travel time. We saw it earlier with the crazy looping 3 walls together. That time around, Sajed not out of danger zone, but it's not the game over. Because of the waves pushed in for DSG, it's just some gold to Sentinels where everyone's pretty much full build. Let's look down the entire roster right now. Everybody except for top and support has full build now. That's 5 items on Hambach.
That's crazy. Even supports just being on 3 completed items is surprising.
Lions will get there. I believe in you.
Yeah. Thornmail will be completed soon for Impact. So he's going to be even tankier. So we didn't have the minimap in that last replay, but I did find it. I think DSG might have been able to win off this, except after they got the kill, Castle did go back to base because he was a little bit low, but then he teleported bot lane. So it was like a guaranteed 4v4 and 4v3 if they get the pick, whereas I feel like if they just push that wave with more people, they can do, at least do a 4 run on mid-top and maybe break the second inhibitor. But now we are Elder and Baron 20 seconds away, likely to be the game-deciding sequence here, and Sentinels have really pulled it back. Max build on Corki and Azir.
Important to note, though, we still have GA on Kisno. 3 Zonias from mid 80 carry and bot lane of DSG. They are ready for a fight, but it will come down to one big fight. Huge poke onto Rahel. Elder has spawned, so if they can't get a reset for Rahel, he's going to be in a rough spot. DSG will start up the Elder.
Rahel decided for Maw instead of Bloodthirster, so can't heal up well off of that poke. Elder deleashes, more time to poke with Kai'Sa.
Sajid taking a very safe path. I like that. Impact in who he had a trap laid for him, and now Castle will face check and see it, who he's walking all the way around. Maybe the cow can find something, but the Elder Dragon's already at half health. Who he does find, the engage on the Sajid! Has the Zonias to try and stay alive. Can he get out of there? Ult over the wall, knocked around, but Sajid still stands. Now it's Lions with the flank. It's Castle holding the line. It's Elder still focused, but Impact is stalling the Elder. Kisno flashes the wall, in goes Rahel. Double kill to the Corki. He's gonna get even more. Sentinels with the team fight win at the Elder Dragon. And Sajid trying to find something will fall. Quadra kill to Rahel.
Only Lions alive in a minion wave in mid. He's hoping to be able to push it back, but that's probably going to be a Game 1 win and Game 1 heartbreak for DSG.
Oh, they held the line for so long, but who was it? Huhi with the flank around the buff and finds Sajed. DSG tried so hard to keep their AD carry alive all game. He played so well, but Huhi on support will find those engages. Sentinels have some minions in their base, but I think with their wave spawning, they should be just fine. Walking in a cannon, Lions is gonna try and stop it, but with Elder Dragon on Sentinels, no shot of that. Welcome to the LCS Sentinels. Congrats on your first game win. Sentinels take win 1 against Disguised.
101,000 gold for their team by the end of this one. 41 kills in 49 minutes. It wasn't how they would have drawn it up, but Sentinels take the 1-0 lead in the series.